Okay, one last thing I'm going to do before I take a much needed break is I'm going back through the paint that's already dry. Remember those guide marks that we put on everything so we can see where we're going and keep everything evenly spaced? I'm going to go back through here, as you see, and I am wiping those guide marks off with a damp toothpick, or not a toothpick, an ear swab, Q-tips. Just dampen it up. Go back through where those guide marks are and just erase them. Now you can use a wet wipe, like a baby wipe, or you can use a damp soft cloth. But I keep a supply of Q-tips. There's the regular kind with the rounded tip. And then sometimes you want to get near some wet paint but not touch it. And I use these, you can see better there. It's got a pointed tip on it. And sometimes I'll use those, but the majority of the time I use these just regular Q-tips. And I keep a jar of water right here on the table at all times. Now I remember this is wet. And I just saw some bubbles here that I missed. There, I think I got them this time. Okay, I've gotten all I can get without coming dangerously close to the wet paints. So I'm going to stop right there for a while and take a break. See you on the other side. Alrighty. I took our dog Mario for a little walk. He enjoyed some fresh air. Watch your neighbors cut down some more trees. And now we're back. So with a fresh start here, I'm going to start with my smallest bent tool here. And you don't have to use a bent tool, I just like to. And come in with these little mini swoops. I'll go around the edges of all these flowers. I go from the bottom up when doing this. And then on the middle portion, I'm going to come in with 1, 2, 3 dots. I'm going to do that all around and come back with you. And I'll be back after I get all the way around. Okay, so I still have several of these to go, but I decided to come back on and tell you something about me that maybe you don't know about. I don't talk about it very much, and it's a fairly new YouTube channel. This is back a very long time ago. My son was 4 years old. My daughter was just 7 weeks old. And my mom and dad came. They wanted to spend some quality time with my son. So they wanted to take him to go see some ice sculptures up the next state over. and most of the roads were good. However, this one road they were on in particular had some black ice on it and no guardrails. And you guessed it, they come around a bend and hit that black ice, and the car went in the water. My mother died instantly. My son it was very drawn out. He was still buckled in. He couldn't get out of his seatbelt from around his car seat. Dad tried to get him out, but he couldn't. So he went up the road and he went to a older couple's home and made a phone call for some help. And the state police came, the EMTs, they were right on the ball trying to get Mom and Daniel out of the car. And it just wasn't done in time. They really didn't have a chance. But they did manage to resuscitate Daniel, and he lived for another day and a half before he finally succumbed to cold water drowning. Today's his birthday. He would have been 39 today. So this was a very long time ago, but it is still hard to talk about. But mandala painting, this is very helpful. It can take you away to another dimension. You get lost in the art. You concentrate more on that than what you're trying to forget, if that's why you're doing the art. So on days like this, you can bet I'm going to be painting. I may go back and read newspaper clippings. They went on for days about this accident. Or I might look at old pictures and remember good times. The good things that happened when we were together. Or when I'm having an especially bad year, I'll try to put it out of my thoughts altogether. I've gotten pretty good at compartmentalizing things. But that's just a little something I wanted to share with you about me and why I do mandalas. And I wish for you to never have to go through something like that. I lost my mother that first day of the accident. A day and a half later, I lost my son. And Dad managed to get out of the car. He made it out alive, just barely. But his life was changed forever. And it was cathartic for him to tell me all about that accident, about Daniel's last words and how he was. But you know what? I've had nightmares from the day that he told me how Daniel died and what he said. And this accident was 35 years ago. So no, it does not get better with time. Sometimes it feels like yesterday. But this is how I deal with it. And I'm hoping that something like this, just using up some old paint, has helped me immensely. And I'm hoping it might be able to help other people. So if you have any questions about how to get started in mandala painting, and I will be continuing to post videos on how-tos because I really want to share this art and how you can get into this process with as many people as I can, because it is very, very helpful. So thank you guys for listening. I'm going to take a minute now and collect myself and see if there's anything else I want to do with this piece. Talk to you soon. Okay, so I'm going to use a number 7, that's 7 millimeters, and make a blue violet dot right here where all of these swoops join. And I'm going to want this to be fairly flat. So after I place the paint down, I'm going to come back in with just a small tool. I'm going to even it all out. Well, I just wiped half the paint that was on the tool onto my finger. It happens. After that layer is dry, I'm going to go over with some of my dot paints. I've got quite a few. They're called drops, Nuvo drops, or what are these called here? Liquid pearls. But I'll go back and use those as top dots over these bluish. Now I think I also want to use a green and come up in between here. And I can't decide if I want to do swoops or dots. So I'm debating. I think I'm going to do dots. Before I do though. I need to get that off of there. Okay. Okay, back to this green. Okay, so that balanced that out. And I'm going to wait now until this is all dry before I go back through and erase the rest of these guidelines. And then I'm probably going to put some micro dots, some micro dots around here. And then some top dots on these blue. And maybe some little gold design in the corners here. And I'll call it done. So I'll see you when this is all dry.